Most of the thoughts that we think are habitual, which means that the thoughts that you think today are typically the same thoughts that you had yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that. And this is because of the way that the brain works with neural pathways. When we think thoughts and then they become habitual, it just deepens those pathways and it makes it so that our brain operates on autopilot. Typically, most of us aren't conscious of the thoughts that we're thinking every day, and that's because they're happening on autopilot because they're habitual and it's just a repetition of the same thoughts that we've had likely for years. And unfortunately, most people's autopilot thoughts are negative thoughts, and that's because of the way that we have evolved as humans. Our brain prioritizes what's negative because it prioritizes its safety, and so it sees the negative as potential danger and to be really mindful of or cognizant of in order to keep us safe and protected. So it's something that has been beneficial to us for thousands of years to survive as humans on Earth. But moving forward, if we don't want to be in survival mode and we instead want to be in thrival mode, or I don't know what you call it, it's like the cheesiest, like, if you don't. Anyways, if you want to be operating differently than being in survival mode and you want to be thriving, might be good to shift our thoughts and rewire the brain and reprogram and develop new neural pathways. And this is something that has to be done consciously and with practice over time. Because studies show that the majority of things that we worry about or stress about never actually happen. And so it's best for us to instead think of what's the best case scenario and being open to how good things can get and believing that that's possible and wiring your brain to be programmed to look for that and be open to that and then to actually see those opportunities and take them. And the more clear and strong we can be in our intuition, the better too for decision making. So instead of just reverting back to our autopilot and negative thinking, we can then be open to how good things could get. We can tune into our intuition to see what would be best for us and what may be possible for us and get clear answers and move in that direction instead. And the more we can be in heart coherence, so the more we can be heart centered and allow the brain waves to match up with the heart waves and be in balanced in our heart centered energy, the more we can also influence the outcomes. So it's natural for us to have a fear of something or to think of worst case scenario, but after doing that, let's instead get into a mode of, for me, it's praying for things to go well, but if prayer isn't something you're into, it's completely fine. Instead, you can just shift to what's your desire for things to go well, being open to things going as well as possible, sitting in a heart coherence meditation, so really getting heart centered and then visualizing the best desired outcome and knowing that it's now more possible because you've done that, and then also training your brain to believe in the best desired outcome. And over time, with those neural pathways being developed, it becomes more natural to move in that direction of the best outcome. So, for example, if you're single and you believe that there are no good men or no good women or whatever type of person you're interested in, that's a belief that you have. Or maybe you believe that all the good ones are taken. And so if you have that belief and then a great person shows up in front of you, you might not even trust or believe that because it almost would feel too good to be true. And so you can actually miss really good opportunities if your beliefs go against those opportunities being possible. Whereas if you choose to have more expansive thoughts and beliefs, believing, for example, that there are great people out there who would be a great match for you and that there is someone who's going to be a great match for you, that you're going to easily meet them and have a great life with them, and you visualize that and feel that and believe that, then it's more likely that it will actually happen. And this is something that neuroscience actually shows us. So scientifically, it's been shown that if we focus tightly on an outcome that we desire, the probability of that outcome actually increases. So a simple way that this is shown in a study is flipping a coin and getting heads or tails. If we focus tightly on, let's say we desire tails, then the chances, and this has been shown over and over again in these studies, is that the probability of a tail popping up actually becomes more likely. So that's something that usually it's a 50-50 chance, heads or tails, but if we're tightly focusing on the outcome that we want, it actually increases the probability of that outcome coming to be. So you can significantly shift the probability of of your desired outcome coming to be just by tightly focusing on it. And especially if you're focusing on it with the heart coherence and bringing in all of your senses into believing that it's happening and believing it's already happened, which in the next video we're going to get into living in the desired reality and how that can really help shift our beliefs and our thoughts. It's now scientifically shown that this actually helps to shift the reality and the possibility of us receiving our desired reality. So this is something that Dr. Dean Radin has done experiments on. He's a chief scientist at the Institute of Noetic Science. So our focused thoughts do push probabilities around, and our thoughts can be self-fulfilling prophecies. Our reality is relative, so what's real for you isn't necessarily what's real for someone else if you have vastly different thoughts, beliefs, and desires. And our mind has been programmed from childhood till now, so upgrading that program can be really beneficial to us. It's like if we saw it as a computer program, and if it was programmed 20 years ago and we've just been running that same program, it's likely outdated and it might not be serving us anymore. This video is sponsored by me. So this video is actually from my program Sanctuary. And Sanctuary is a program where we reprogram your mind, your thoughts, your beliefs, your energy, and your vibration to create your desired reality and to also have deep healing and integration. So if there's anything that you've been wanting for your life, but you've been held back or there's been limiting beliefs or different things blocking you, this is where we clear all of that and get you to a place where you're actually living in your desired reality and you become the version of yourself that's able to sustain that and to also feel at peace and happy and free. And this program is especially good for empaths, intuitives, highly sensitive people, healers, and ADHDers who might be feeling drained or unfulfilled in life, who are wanting to reclaim their power and follow their heart's calling. So if you're ready to break through any barriers that have been in your way and make positive changes in your life, then click the link in the description below and join Sanctuary. So it's typically more beneficial if we're thinking empowering thoughts and choosing our beliefs. We can actually choose what we believe and therefore choose what we're going to ultimately receive, or at least be more likely to receive, based on the thoughts that we choose to think. So we can program ourselves through affirmations, which are I am statements, or askformations, which is how are statements. And this helps to shift and rewire our mind. So things like, I am so lucky. I am so blessed. How am I so lucky? How am I so blessed? How are things going so well for me? How am I so healthy? How am I so vibrant? How do I have so much energy? How do I always feel so good? How is everything always happening in my favor? And when you can choose to program yourself with these types of thoughts, then even when things don't go seemingly well in your life, we can recognize rejection is divine protection. And so even if things don't seem to go well, we can still choose to have these beliefs of how is everything always going in my favor? How is everything always turning out in the best way for me? How is everything happening so beautifully for me? How is everything happening so perfectly for me? And then recognizing that there is this higher arching possibility of what's available to us. So if there's some type of opportunity or possibility that you're hoping for and you're shifting your thoughts to believe that it's possible and to move in that direction, you're getting into your heart space, but you still may not receive it and it may feel like rejection. Just remembering that even rejection is divine intervention and it may just be shifting you to an even better opportunity. So if we can always believe that everything is always happening in our favor, everything is always happening best case scenario. And so even when things in life may feel dark or like they're not going in a good direction, what is the opportunity? So one of my mentors had something that she said to me years ago, I think back in 2008, 2009, and it was problems equal opportunities. So how can we shift to see every problem that exists as instead an opportunity? That there's always a solution to everything, there's always opportunities that exist. And if we can shift our mindset to believe that, then every time problems happen in our lives, we can shift to think, what's the opportunity here? And so even if you're in a place where you don't have these empowering thoughts or beliefs, or it feels like a stretch for you, you can choose to start saying words that will even open up your thoughts to be able to start shifting. So how are my thoughts getting better and better? How am I becoming more and more optimistic? How am I open to things getting better for me? How are my thoughts so helpful for me? So if you get into that space of just opening up the possibility of having empowering thoughts, and just remembering too that it is normal and natural to have negative thoughts, and it's also important if they're feelings that need to be moved through and processed, to still validate and give space to our feelings as they come up. And then it's just choosing to revert back to open thoughts that can be beneficial to us and that can allow the best possible outcomes into our lives. And over time, that really helps. As we practice that, it deepens our neural pathways so that it then becomes more natural for us to have these empowering thoughts. And when the difficulties of life present themselves, and just recognizing that that is an opportunity for us to grow in our empathy, grow in our wisdom, grow in our compassion, and seeing that there are opportunities that are available in any moment for us to grow and become the best version of ourselves. So what you just listened to was a sample from my program Sanctuary. Sanctuary is a program to heal the past, claim your power, and create your dream life. If you'd like to go further with this, then join the program Sanctuary. I'll link it down below. And if you're not ready to sign up right away, I actually have a free sample of Sanctuary in my free school community. So I'll link that down below too. So click the links, either join Sanctuary or check out the free sample of it in my school community, and I'll see you there. Thanks so much for watching, and may you be happy, healthy, and free.